Hello, I'm Zaccura and welcome back to my channel, and week 3 of Inktober is officially over. If you're still participating, let me know how you're feeling down in the comments because I'm sure we're all feeling a bit tired by now. Inktober is definitely a tough drawing workout, but hopefully we're not too burnt out and y'all have gotten through that burnout threshold I mentioned in last week's video. For the topic of this week's video, I wanted to actually take a slightly different turn from last week's video where I basically gave tips on how to stay with the daily grind and not quit. And today actually talk a bit more about why it's okay to quit, or since I don't really like that word, it's okay to not do the challenge by the book. And this was kind of inspired by something my friend Jasmine over here on YouTube mentioned last week, and I thought it was a really interesting and good topic to talk about for week 3. I'll have her channel linked in the card. If you guys don't know her, you should definitely go and check her out. She is an amazing artist and she has been honestly crushing Inktober every day so far, and I've just been really enjoying seeing her work over on Instagram every day. It's really cool. But going back to the not doing the challenge by the book thing, I felt it was a very good topic to talk about for week 3 because by now we have all seen and found out sort of where we stand in regards to the challenge, because there are many things that go into it. If this was or is your first year participating, then you've probably seen how it's so much more than just drawing. It's persistence and burnout, the need to be creative every day, and etc, etc. I think these things, while not really seen on the surface, are a big part, if not the biggest part, of Inktober, or really doing any kind of monthly challenge, or even just doing some kind of art project that has a deadline. But Inktober, I think, is a very good example of this because so many people do it and are very familiar with it. And I think that with anything we do art-wise, but especially with things like Inktober, where there are a lot of people participating in doing the exact same thing, there can be a very strong sense of comparison. You look at what others did that day and you sort of measure your own work against that. Or perhaps measure your ability even to make a drawing every day to someone else who is just pumping out these amazing things every single day like it's no problem. And I don't want to turn this into a soapbox speech about how you shouldn't compare yourself to others and yada yada, because for one, it's completely natural. It's a completely natural thing to do. Everybody does it all the time in like every aspect of our lives. I mean, it is literally built into us at an instinctual level. And the point of saying don't compare yourself to others is not to mean literally don't compare yourself to others, because I also think that doing that is important. It's actually a good thing to do, which is why a lot of the time I think, especially with younger artists or people who are just sort of starting out in art, they don't really understand what people mean when they say don't compare your work to others. They don't mean literally not to compare your work to others, because you're going to be doing that regardless. They mean don't let that comparison bring you down. Don't just say that that person is better than you and thus you suck and period. Like, let that be the end of it. Which is something that, again, is a bit soapboxy because we've all heard that before and we all, quote, know not to do that, but it is still something that most artists, especially newer ones, struggle with. And the reason is really simple. It's because when you're new, everything is hard. Everything. And not only that, you don't have any experience yet to see that that hard work will pay off. So it doesn't matter how much you know, from what other people have told you that that hard work will pay off, or that you will get better and yada yada. The fact is that you don't really know, because you haven't gotten there yet. And you may be like, okay, what does this have to do with Inktober? Well, while it's true that this comparison happens all the time, I think that Inktober can be a prime time for it because it's so structured and so many people of all levels participate in it. And because of that, it can be very easy for artists to go online and see all these amazing artists who are pumping out these incredible things every day like it's no problem. And you feel like somehow you need to measure up to that. And that unless you can, Inktober isn't for you. You can feel a lot of pressure and you can just hate the work you're making because you don't feel it's good enough for the challenge. And at the start, all those incredible artists may give you a lot of motivation. You may be like, I can do that, I'm gonna use this month to improve and get better, and I'm gonna post every day, and it's gonna be a blast. And then the first week goes by, and the second week, and all you're feeling is how hard it is to keep it up every day, and you aren't proud of your work, and you're really not improving all that much, and it's just not fun. And this is where I sort of finally come to the point of this video, I know, long way around, and that is, that's okay. If you're not having fun, then don't do it. It's not a failure, a defeat, and I quit. It's simply not doing the challenge by the book, which no one's making you do anything a certain way anyway. No one's expecting anything from you, except for yourself. And let's be honest, self-expectations can be one of your greatest tools, but also your greatest enemy. I'm personally the kind of person that has very high expectations for myself, often too high. And honestly, it has served me well, but it can also very much not serve me well. It makes me work hard, and it makes me push myself, and it makes me improve. I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for some of that kind of unrealistic expectations for myself. But at the same time, those expectations can come crashing down on you when you can't meet them. And it can actually serve to degrade yourself. I mean, if you expected yourself to do something, that means you basically knew you were going to do it. So if you end up not doing something that you knew you would, what does that make you? Well, your head often decides that you're just not adequate. You just suck. And that's when comparing yourself to others starts to bring you down, because you start to believe that you are just somehow different than that person who's better, and that you can't achieve it. It's just not for you. And this is the worst thing to get into your head, people, okay? But for real, it's crazy how much what you think of yourself affects your abilities. And that kind of veers off into many more aspects of life, but just sticking with art here, how much you think of where you are and where you're going affects how much you can do so much. And over time, that was one thing that I really started to learn and realize that it's good to have expectations for yourself, because having expectations for yourself means you believe in yourself. But if you don't meet those expectations, it doesn't mean you should stop believing in yourself. All it means was that those expectations weren't what you thought they were. And the very fact that you found that out is actually something to be proud of, because it meant that you went and gave it a try. You decided to go out and find out for yourself what it would be like and what you're really capable of. So how this translates to something like Inktober, whether you complete all 31 days or whatever amount you expected yourself to do or not, or if you thought you were going to do all 31 days but later went to switch to just doing a few here and there, you should still be proud of whatever you did, because you gave it a try and you did it the way that fits you. You didn't get defeated, you just did it your way. And at the end of all this motivational mumbo jumbo, all Inktober is just an opportunity out there to give a shot and to have fun with. So just have fun. And that's the reason I really recommend any artist to try Inktober. Well, not because they should complete it or that they need to do it a certain way, but because it is a perfect opportunity to learn so much about yourself as an artist. And specifically with Inktober, I think it helps a lot with being more secure with your artwork as well. Because you're going to be making pieces you don't like or don't completely like, and you're gonna post it, and you're gonna see that making and posting bad art is not something to avoid but to embrace. You may think that posting bad art will just make you more insecure because people are going to be judging something that you yourself are already not totally happy with. But it's actually just the opposite. The more you do it, the more it becomes not a big deal. And the more something becomes less of a deal, the less it affects you. This applies to literally everything. And so with art, you become less afraid to make mistakes or meet those perfect expectations because you know from experience that it really doesn't matter. And when you take away that stress, that requirement that everything you post and make has to be perfect, you're able to just improve and draw without that pressure. I mentioned before that this year I finally got Inktober right, in the sense that I'm not losing my head from stress like I was last year. And truthfully, a bit of the reason for that is because of me sort of learning how to balance my expectations. Because of what I did last year, I know what I'm capable of, and this year with Zig's journal story theme, I expect myself to complete it, and I expect myself to do a good job. But at the same time, I'm completely fine if I don't meet those expectations. I have that comfort in the back of my mind that if I just tank it one day, it's not a big deal, and it's really not going to affect me much at all. And because of that, I'm so much more relaxed every day. And I mean, so far I've accumulated around like 4,000 words of writing, and I've been drawing multiple little drawings every day, and most importantly, I'm having a lot of fun. So far, this Inktober has been the most fun for me out of the 3 years, and I've just really grown to love these characters also. It's just been great. And I hope that all of you, whether you're still going strong, or if you change things up, or if you're just not doing it anymore, that Inktober has been a positive and fun experience for you. And I wish you all best of luck if you're still going for it, or however you're doing it, that it continues to be good for you going forward into the last week of Inktober. So that wraps up this week's Inktober topic video. I hope you guys found it interesting, but I'd love to hear your views on the matter, so do leave a comment if you have a moment. You've been watching various clips from my week 3 Inktober drawings, or I guess I should just call them pages by now. There was a lot of story going on this past week, lots of reading and happenings happening. I hope you guys have been enjoying the journey so far over on my Instagram, Twitter, and Art Amino. All the links to that, as well as my other sites, are all linked down below in the description box where you can follow me for daily updates. I'm starting to really consider making a book after it's all finished, so if that is something you guys would be interested in, please let me know, and let me know if you have any thoughts or ideas on the book, if you do. If you did enjoy this video in any way, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and let me know which of these week 3 drawings is your favorite. Mine might have to be actually day 15, because I quite like the design of Fleek's father. It was the first time I drew a fully grown adult in this style, so it was interesting. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. I make new videos every week, and please do hit the little bell to stay notified for when I upload, because with Inktober, my upload schedule has been a little bit unpredictable, and not to mention we're nearing that part of the month when my monthly character story video will be coming up soon, haha. And YouTube loves to not give people notifications all the time. Good luck to you all, and until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, always. See ya!